get to know how I feel. Maybe better down the line. Feel inside.
Almost every record that you love runs on about 8 effects. 8, that's most of it. Every one of them is one simple idea. It's not a mystery, it's not 1,000 knobs, one idea you can actually see. So let's get through all 8 of them. By the end, you hear what each one of them is doing to your music. I build audio plugins on my own, so I've had to pull these apart and write the DSP myself. That's the whole qualification here. First one is the EQ. People treat it like surgery, but here's all it is. It's just a volume knob for every pitch. So lows at one end, highs at the other. Turn one down, turn one up, that's the whole thing. A harsh vocal, pull down the harsh part, dull mix, lift the top. You're just changing which pitches are loud.
And we'll be better down the line. And we'll be better down the line.
So an EQ decides which frequencies are loud, but what if the problem is that the whole thing keeps jumping in volume? So that jumping is where compression comes in. It shrinks the gap between the loudest and the quietest parts. A vocal that leaps from a whisper to a shout, compression pulls the loud bits down so the quiet bits can come up. Now it sits.
That you can read my mind. How do you get that you can read my mind? How do you get that you can read my mind? How do you get?
So there's 2 controls that change the feel. Attack, how fast it grabs. A slow attack lets the hit punch through first, which can make drums feel punchier.
That you can read my mind. How do you get that you can read my mind? How do you get?
And then there's release, how fast it lets go. Match it to the tempo and it breathes with the track. Compression evens out volume over time. Reverb changes something completely different, where the sound seems to be. Okay, so let's talk reverb. Everyone says it adds space, but that's not the mechanism. Reverb is thousands of tiny echoes piling up. Clap in a real room and the sound bounces off every wall, thousands of times, blurring into a tail. And here's the part that really matters here. A real room piles those echoes densely and irregularly. When echoes stay sparse or too regular, your ear starts hearing the machine. So basically, reverb is a blur of echoes you can't count. But a single echo you can count, that's a different tool entirely. A delay is that single echo, one clean copy of the sound, repeated, and you place it precisely in time. Line it up with the beat and it locks into the groove. Offset it left and right and the track suddenly feels wide. Same idea as reverb, a repeat, but one you can hear as a distinct hit, not a blur. So a delay gives you repeats you can count. The next 3 change the texture from inside the sound, starting with warmth. Saturation is gentle distortion. bends the waveform, usually rounding the tall peaks, and that bending is what creates new harmonics. Small little tones that weren't there before. Stack them up and your ear just calls it warm.
And we'll be better down the line. And we'll be better down the line.
But there's a line. Push it too far and those harmonics pile up harsh. A little is warmth, too much just wrecks it.
'Cause now my heart is in a bind. 'Cause now my heart is in a bind.
So saturation adds new tones on top of the sound. The next one adds copies of the sound itself, slightly late, slightly off. So a chorus takes your sound and makes a few copy of it, each a few milliseconds late and slightly out of tune. That's the difference between one person singing and a whole choir. Same notes but thick and wide. The copies blend together so you never hear them as separate. It just sounds bigger. Chorus hides its copies. Its cousin does the opposite. It makes the delay much shorter, then moves it. So a flanger mixes your sound with a copy delayed by a hair, and then it moves that delay back and forth. Where the two line up, frequencies reinforce. Where they oppose, they cancel. That repeating pattern of peaks and notches is a calm, and moving the delay makes the calm sweep. That whoosh, that jet plane sound, well, that's the calm moving across the frequencies. Everything so far shaped the sound. The last one decides how far the peaks can go. So a limiter is a ceiling. You set a level and the peaks stop there. It's compression taken to the extreme, used to make a master louder while it keeps the peaks from clipping.
That you can read my mind. How do you get that you can read my mind? How do you get that you can read my mind? How do you get?
But push it too hard and it flattens everything. The loudness comes at the cost of life.
Feel inside, 'cause I didn't take you. Feel inside, 'cause I didn't take you.
So that's it. 8 effects. EQ is volume per pitch. Compression evens it out. Reverb is a dense blur of echoes. Delay is one echo in time. Saturation adds harmonics. Chorus adds blended copies. Flanger sweeps a calm. Limiter sets a ceiling. That is the core toolkit behind a huge amount of music you listen to. Now you know what's happening under the hood. I really want to take these things more apart properly, and I'll probably start with reverb, because most reverb sounds fake for one reason. So let me know if you want more of these. Like, subscribe. I'm one person making these and it takes a lot of time. I hope you enjoyed. See you next time.